Hi, I'm Chef Savannah Sasser from Hampton and Hudson. Today we're going to do a pan-seared chicken thigh over a chilled cucumber and English pea salad. I chose this dish because in the springtime you don't want to spend all your time in the kitchen, you want to be outside with your family, so this should be quick and easy and nice and fresh. So today's ingredients, we have hydro cucumbers, or also known as seedless cucumbers, some feta, English peas, whole grain mustard, a fresh lemon with the zest removed, some olive oil with fresh tarragon inside, rice wine vinegar, and shallots, and of course, Springer Mountain chicken thighs. And don't worry, if you miss any of the instructions or the ingredients, they're listed below, so you have plenty of time to take a look. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and make sure that our pot of water is turned on. We want to quickly blanch the English pea. There are only two things that you're going to cook today, the thighs and the peas. The rest is fresh and easy, and that's what I meant by trying to get you out of the kitchen and with your family sooner. So I'm going to go ahead and season the chicken thighs with a little bit of salt, and if you like white pepper or black pepper, feel free to do that. We're going to bring this water up to a boil, and while our cast iron is heating up, I'm going to go ahead and hit our cucumbers with a little bit of salt. What you're doing is essentially bringing out all of the water from the cucumber, so it starts to make its own little liquid. So it looks like our cast iron is heated up, so with tongs and being very careful, we're going to go ahead and put that in the thigh. Ooh, good sound. You want to put it down the seasoned side down first so that you can go ahead and season the other side. So the great thing about this is while you're doing that, we'll just go ahead and bring this water up to a boil. And then the rest is just combining, which is a very easy and fun way to do this. And the great thing about this dish is, if you don't like tarragon, you can change it for basil or whatever fresh herb that you really like. When cooking, I always think it's important to be mobile and always changing and make it fit you and your lifestyle. So I have a little bit of water with ice in it so that after the peas go to the tenderness that I want them to, I will put them in the ice water to blanch them and cool them. This salad is nice and cool, so it'll keep it refreshed on a hot day. All right, I think we're about to boil. So you're gonna look for a little bit of color on the chicken thighs, but you don't wanna play around with it too much. That's what I love about cast irons are that you get a lot of flavor and it's super easy. And if you want to, you can actually finish this in the oven and come back to it. It's super easy. So it's almost to a boil, and we're using fresh English peas, but feel free to use frozen. I would stay away from canned, but if that's what you have, that's what you have. So you want them to be slightly tender, but with a little bit of texture. You don't want them overcooked because you want that kind of freshness and texture that you get from English peas. So while our English peas are working, we can go ahead and start to assemble the salad a little bit. As you can see, the cucumbers are starting to glisten because what that's doing is allowing the water in the cucumbers to come out. So I've already zested a little bit of the lemon, but we can go ahead and zest a little bit more. So when you're zesting, you just want to go until you see a little bit of the white. Once you get into the white section of the lemon, it's going to be slightly bitter, so we want to avoid that as much as possible. So we're going to use the fresh lemon. If we're going to use the zest, why not use the liquid inside? While our peas are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and use this as a catch-all for my lemon seeds. Okay, now it looks like our peas are done. So you can either use a colander and strictly strain it, or I'm just going to take this, and from here I'm going to put it right into an ice bath. What that does is stop the cooking process, which is important because we want them to stay fresh and bright and vibrant. Okay, so now that that's chilled, we'll let them sit for a minute and make sure that they're completely cooled. And one note to remember is that whenever you're blanching any vegetable, you want to make sure that you're using heavily salted water. You want to put as much salt, we always say, like the sea. So you want it to be slightly like the ocean. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my thighs up a little bit. So you want to get a little bit of color. We have a little on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and flip them and let them continue to cook. You can hit this with a little bit of white wine if you want, finish it in the oven, you can grill it. That's the great thing about this dish. So while we're waiting for our chicken thigh to finish cooking, we can go ahead and assemble the salad. We're going to strain our peas after they're chilled. So we're gonna make our dressing first. What we're gonna start with is a little bit of our rice wine vinegar. And you can use champagne vinegar, white wine vinegar, whatever vinegar that you like. I like the acid in the rice wine, so that's what we're gonna do today. A little bit of whole grain mustard, or a lot of it. It's as much as you like it. And we're gonna stir it slightly. And essentially what we're doing is a vinaigrette. So always start with an acid, a mustard or something of that sort, and then we're going to emulsify it with our oil. And I like to use extra virgin olive oil because we're going to be using this, we're not heating it, so it doesn't, you're just going for the flavor. And it has some fresh tarragon in it. And don't worry if it looks a little separated, it'll all come together in the end. We'll add some of our fresh lemon zest. And fresh shallots. And feel free to use green onion, leeks, whatever you're into. It's very easy to play with this recipe. Our fresh English peas. And then at this point you can see the water coming off of the cucumbers. That nice little water droplet, that's what you're looking for. We're gonna go ahead and add that in. With the cucumbers, you can make them as thin as you want. You don't want them super thick because it'll take longer for the salt to pull out the water. And again, it's kind of whatever ratio you like for cucumber versus English pea. But you wanna get all of those different textures. So we're just gonna mix those together. And then at the very end, just gonna season it. You always wanna taste one, so we'll pull it off to the side, give it a little taste. Hit it with a little bit more salt. And add the feta. Again, if you don't like feta, use goat cheese or Parmesan would be nice. It's kind of whatever you're into. And that's it. And now we have a fresh salad. See all of the different textures, the shallots, the peas, and the cucumber. It's a really beautiful salad. So it looks like our chicken is finished. Make sure that you're using a thermometer and it reaches 165 to ensure that it is fully cooked. So I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of the fresh lemon juice. Just for that fresh acidic. So now that I have a fresh plate, we don't want to make sure we're not using our old plate that we had the raw chicken on. I'm just going to lightly move the chicken thighs around to get that extra goodness off of the bottom. And we're going to just take that extra lemon that we had, and as you see, that nice little sauce, we're going to pour it right on top. Okay, it's time to plate. And the great thing about this is you can make it a couple hours earlier and just go ahead and throw it in the refrigerator so that when your friends come over, you can grill, pull it out, and start plating. Our beautiful chicken thighs. The great thing about chicken thighs is there's a lot of flavor, but if you don't like thighs, you can use breast, you can do a whole bird. It's kind of whatever you're into. I'm just going to set that right on top. And there you have it. You have a fun, easy dish for the springtime. It gives you plenty of time to be out with the family. And make sure if you want more recipes, go to springermtn.com.